The moment you decide to become extraordinary is the moment your life begins to shift. Not someday, not when everything is perfect. Right at that instant, when you make that internal decision, something changes within you. Today, let's talk about a principle that can transform your life, your career, and your relationships. It sounds simple, almost too simple, but don't underestimate it. Act as if you are the best, as if no one is better than you. Now, before you misunderstand, this is not about arrogance. It's not about thinking you're superior to others or putting people down. It's about elevating yourself. It's about stepping fully into your potential. When you act as if you are the best, you're choosing to think, behave, and operate at a higher standard. You're aligning your actions with the version of yourself that performs at the highest level. Think about elite performers, athletes, leaders, creators. There's something different about how they carry themselves. It's not loud. It's not showy. It's quiet confidence, certainty, presence. They walk into a room like they belong there. That's what this principle is about. Now you might say, but I'm not the best yet. Good. That's exactly why this works. Because when you act as if you are the best, you begin to train your mind to believe it. And once your mind believes it, your behavior starts to align with it. And once your behavior aligns, your results begin to reflect it. It becomes a self-fulfilling process. Let's take a real situation. Imagine walking into an interview filled with doubt. Your posture is closed, your voice uncertain, your thoughts scattered. Even if you have the skills, your energy communicates insecurity. Now imagine walking in with the mindset, I am the best candidate for this role. Your posture changes. Your tone becomes clear. Your answers become sharp. You're no longer hoping they're choosing, you're demonstrating why they should. Even if you don't get that job, you've already grown. You've practiced confidence. You've strengthened your communication. You've raised your standard. That's the real win. Acting as if you're the best is not about pretending forever. It's about practicing until it becomes real. Because humans are adaptive. You don't become confident by waiting. You become confident by acting confidently. You don't become disciplined by thinking. You become disciplined by doing disciplined actions. At first, it might feel uncomfortable, even unnatural. That's okay. Growth always feels unfamiliar at the beginning, but repetition changes identity. What you repeatedly do becomes who you are. And here's something most people overlook. The world responds to your energy. When you carry yourself like someone who knows their value, people treat you differently. Opportunities open. Conversations shift. Doors that once seemed closed start to move. Not because you tricked the world, but because you changed yourself. This principle also reshapes your inner voice. That voice that says you're not good enough, you can't do this, who do you think you are? That voice isn't truth. It's conditioning. It's built from past failures, fear, comparison, and doubt. When you act as if you are the best, you begin to overwrite that programming. You replace I can't with I will figure it out. You replace I'm not ready with I'll become ready through action. Over time, the new voice becomes stronger, and eventually it becomes your default. But let's be clear, acting as if you're the best does not mean ignoring your flaws. In fact, it requires the opposite. The best performers are deeply aware of where they need to improve. They don't avoid weakness. They study it. They refine it. They attack it. So when you adopt this mindset, you combine confidence with honesty. You say, I believe in my potential, and I will work relentlessly to improve. That combination is powerful. Confidence without growth becomes arrogance. Growth without confidence becomes hesitation. But together they create momentum. This principle applies everywhere. In relationships, act as if you are the best partner, the best friend, the best family member. How would you communicate? How would you listen? How would you show up consistently? In your health, act as if you're already in peak condition. What would you eat? How would you train? How would you treat your body? In your finances, act as if you're financially disciplined and intelligent. How would you spend? How would you save? How would you invest your time and energy? This is not imagination for entertainment. This is identity training. You're rehearsing the life you want to live. And here's something powerful. When you raise your standards, you influence others. People feel it. They see your commitment. They notice your discipline. And without saying a word, you challenge them to rise too. You become an example, not by forcing others, but by embodying excellence. Now let's talk about fear, because fear will show up. It always does. Fear of failing, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. Acting as if you are the best doesn't remove fear. It teaches you to act despite it. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement in the presence of it. You feel it, and you move anyway. That's where growth lives. And yes, you will fail at times. That's part of the process. But failure is not a signal to stop. It's feedback. It tells you what to adjust, what to improve, what to do differently next time. The best don't avoid failure. They learn faster from it. Another trap you must avoid is comparison. In today's world, it's easy to look at others and feel behind. But when you act as if you are the best, your focus shifts. You stop competing with others. You start competing with your previous self. You ask, am I better than yesterday? That's the only competition that matters. And that's how real progress is built. Let's talk about mindset. Your mindset is your internal operating system. It shapes how you interpret everything. When you adopt this principle, you upgrade that system. You start seeing opportunities instead of limitations, solutions instead of excuses, possibilities instead of obstacles. And this shift affects everything: your work, your relationships, your decisions. Now, let's add a powerful tool: visualization. Every day, take a few minutes to imagine yourself at your best. See yourself performing confidently, handling challenges with control, communicating clearly, achieving your goals. This isn't fantasy, it's mental conditioning. Your brain begins to recognize this version of you as normal. And when that happens, your actions follow. Language also matters. Pay attention to how you speak. Replace I'll try, I will, I hope, I expect, I can't, how can I? Words shape thought. Thought shapes action. Action shapes results. Another important truth: perfection is not required. Acting as if you're the best is not about being flawless. It's about giving your best effort consistently. Mistakes will happen. That's fine. Progress matters more than perfection. Now let's talk about habits. Your habits are your foundation. When you act as if you are the best, your daily actions begin to change. You become more intentional, more focused, more disciplined. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You prioritize growth. And over time, these small changes create massive results. Consistency is the real secret. Not intensity, not motivation. Consistency. Showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Because that's what builds identity. That's what builds confidence. That's what builds success. Now let's address humility. True confidence and humility are not opposites. They work together. Being the best version of yourself doesn't mean you look down on others. It means you respect yourself enough to grow and respect others enough to lift them. You don't need to prove anything. Your work speaks. Your actions show. Your results demonstrate. That's real confidence. This mindset also transforms leadership. Whether you realize it or not, people are always observing. When you operate at a high standard, you lead by example. You inspire others to step up. You create an environment of excellence. And leadership is not about having all the answers. It's about showing commitment, consistency, and clarity. Now let's talk about resilience. Life will test you. Unexpected problems will come. Plans will fail. Things will go wrong. But when you act as if you are the best, you don't break under pressure. You adapt. You adjust. You continue. Because you understand that setbacks are temporary. And your identity is stronger than any obstacle. Finally, understand this. Acting as if you are the best is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming your highest self. The version of you that already exists but hasn't been fully expressed yet. So starting today, walk with confidence, speak with clarity, think with intention, act with purpose. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for approval. Don't wait for perfection. Start now. Because the moment you decide to step into that identity, everything begins to change. And over time, what started as an act becomes who you truly are.